What's up, Nitro Nation? Muggy Maniac is in the cave. It is early morning. As promised, I told you guys that we were going to do a video, and we are going to go over a few things. The main thing is I want to show you guys. First off, welcome all Muggy Maniacs, Buggy Maniacs, Truggy Maniacs, Monster Truck, but you know, the monster trucks that are badass, if you want to call them monster trucks, I prefer Muggies, which is not a buggy, not a truggy. It's in between, hybrid they call them. Some people call them. Closest you're gonna get to a monster truck without dealing with the, the bullshit pull start, rotor start crap. So, if you guys are still messing around with the pull start and the rotor start, then, like I said, it is what it is. That's, to me, that's like freshman in high school, nitro school, I should say. That's like scrub shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you're still a scrub, it's not like it's a bad thing. And eventually, hopefully, you'll graduate to seal back motors, okay? Which, in turn, will give you less headaches. A lot less headaches. There's less bullshit. So anyway, welcome, newbies, middies. I call them middies. Newbies, you're less than a year in nitro, you're a newbie, okay? Period. Middies, oldie but goodies, old farts like me, like the Muggy Maniac. No spring chicken here. So anyway, we're going to talk about like some diffs, like I said. Two main important things, I think, that are very, 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 very crucial to getting the best frickin' performance out of your nitro. Okay, now, when I talk about performance out of your whip, what am I talking about? Okay, I'm talking about, okay, we'll call it, rules of engagement, we should say, or, is your clutch engaging or not? Some guys, I watch their videos and it's like, and then they get frustrated because, like, they think their tuning is off, but a lot of times your tuning has to do with not just your people. I think people have a misconception of what tuning your motor is. It's not just, sure, the basics is your low speed, your high speed, your idle, fuel, blah blah blah. The normal stuff. Okay. And as far as nitro goes, one of the biggest reasons, not the only, but one of the reasons that people quit is because they can't tune a motor. They don't have the patience. They don't want to learn. And a lot of times it's just because they're dealing with low-quality bullshit Traxxas. If you're dealing with Traxxas, until you get away from Traxxas, you're going to continue to have headaches. You don't even know what quality is because you're dealing with garbage. Traxxas is garbage. Zero quality whatsoever. Now, I'm just sticking to the facts, okay? Well, how can I say that? Because I ran Traxxas for many, many years. Okay, I raced Traxxas, or I tried to race Traxxas locally, and just got my ass kicked by Associated and Losi. And this was back along when Traxxas was actually decent, okay? Traxxas is complete garbage now. I wouldn't, and I've talked to a lot of my Nitro brothers, well-respected guys in Nitro and fifth scale, and they wouldn't even give Traxxas to their kids. Even I don't blame them, neither would I. It just, and a lot of people, They just think that Traxxas is it because that's all they're exposed to. And I blame Traxxas more than anybody. It's not the person's fault. It's what they're exposed to. But I blame the person when there's YouTube, there's social media, there's tons of avenues out there to do your homework and find out and research that Traxxas is garbage. The first hint should be they don't even have a race team. So there's no racing development in Traxxas whatsoever. So if you're looking for a barely above average toy quality RC, it's not too complicated. The only thing complicated is the headaches it's going to give you, so it is kind of complicated, but you know what I mean, is Traxxas. So, and people go into hobby shops and that's all they see. Now I had some videos that got deleted a while back that had where I went to some of my local hobby shops. I have a couple. I'm going to do that again. I got a lot of good response. I mean, I got a lot of people that were just interested. Okay, let me show you what I deal with 2018, 19, whatever, local hobby shops. That's why I emphasize, if you're not computer savvy, get computer savvy. If you're living in the Stone Ages and typewriter, so to speak, or you're one of those guys that still has a freaking flip phone or an old school, get with it, man, because if you want to have any chance of success in 8-scale Nitro today, you need to get up with technology. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be a computer whiz or a brainiac like my, brainiac, Nitro brainiac buddy over there in Germany. You know who you are. Shout out to him, by the way. Me and him talk like almost every day behind YouTube. Shout out, and give my a couple shout outs out the way that what I've seen. Shout out to Nitro Bird. I haven't heard from him, but hey, just so you know, Nitro Bird, I don't have any animosity or anything towards you, man. I just want you to learn and not have to go through the shit that I went through. So, but sometimes people have to learn the hard way. We're men, and a lot of us are just stubborn. That's just the way it is. But anyway, shout out to Woogie. I think I don't know what he's been up to. I haven't seen anything. He's probably busy. I just, I told you guys that I was going to step away, not do as much YouTube. But it's like, if you've seen my last video, I didn't when I played that video, Eminem video, or when I was, because I listen to Eminem. I don't listen to a lot of rap, but I listen to, Eminem. I like him just because he keeps it real. I relate to him because he just keeps the shit real. Doesn't matter if it creates controversy. Doesn't matter if it ruffles feathers. He don't give a, excuse my language, flying fuck. He just says it how it is, and that's what I've always liked about Eminem. For those of you that don't or do follow, hip hop, I don't. I'm more into the old school, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Blacks, but and I like some of the newer stuff, System of a Down, Korn, Rage Against the Machine, I even like Muse, I like Incubus, 311. I have, big genre of music, because remember, I've been around the block a while, so my taste of music is pretty broad. But anyway, I like Eminem because he just keeps the shit real. And if you ever watch or listen to that video or watch or heard the words in that song, it's talking about that without him, and it's true in the game, and at that time, rap and hip hop's just empty, boring, just bland. You know what I'm saying? Eminem was just a guy that was just seeing it, calling it how he's seen it, whether it was creating controversy, ruffling feathers, pissing people off. As long as he was telling the truth of facts, he didn't give a shit who took it whatever way. And that's, I didn't even realize, because I was just playing that video because it says, look who's back again, Muggy's back, right? And that's what I was kind of like, not that I'm trying to get all Nitro nerd and get all weird on my videos, but, like, add a little flavor, for you guys. Instead of Muggy Maniac just rambling on all the time, which I do anyway. But when I started listening to that song, I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize it till after I started watching my video. Because I watch my videos sometimes before, sometimes during. I'm uploading them or after. But anyway, I'm listening to that video of that song, and it's like, that's the Muggy Maniac. This YouTube Nitro 8-scale. And I looked around over the last time, last week or whatever, when I wasn't doing videos. I was just doing a lot of studying, doing my wrenching, getting caught up. studying guys like Adam, getting, I do my homework and take notes. And I've got tons of them. Trust me, that's what this is. I write. I don't just watch videos for entertainment. I take notes because that's what's going to help me get to the next level in Nitro. That's what's going to help me avoid going through, headaches and shit that I don't have to. Because if you pay attention to these guys like Adam Drake, Gordy Tessman, Mr. Zah, all these guys that have videos out there, Ryan Lutz, to name a few, if you learn, take notes, and apply it to what you're doing, man, that's how I've learned, and that's how I've got success thus far in 8 Scale Nitro. So anyway, there's just a lot of the videos I watch out. There's nothing going on in 8 Scale Nitro. Mr. Zah, he's not doing any videos on 8 Scale Nitro at all. He's drag racing full on, man. Drag racing season is on and cracking. Even my brother Elite RC, shout out to him. And, by the way, shout out to Mr. Zah. Those guys are just heavily busy and just, they got a lot of shit going on. You know Mr. Zah, he doesn't like to do videos that much anyway. Although he's getting paid now, so you have to, it's not a contract thing, but it's part of the YouTube thing. That's why I don't want to get caught up in all that million subscribers and 10,000, 3,000 so I can get a check. Who cares? I don't need YouTube's money, okay? I earn, like I said, I earn an honest living. You guys know or don't know what I do. I do industrial aerospace manufacturing. I work with titanium. I work with all kinds of steel. I work with aluminum. I work with every kind of metal that you can think known to man. Bend it, weld it, grind it, form it, shape it, CNC it, for planes, helicopters, even automobiles, some stuff. But anyway, so that's what I do. I'm around metals, I'm around machining, I'm around aluminum. Titanium's pretty cool, by the way. If you see how trying to cut titanium, it's crazy, man. You would think that shit, even really thin, wouldn't be that hard to cut. It's man, that's why it's one of the strongest metals known to man. Magnesium, all that stuff. But anyway, not to get into my career. So that video, that song was like, if you listen to it, controversy, everybody needs a little bit of controversy. Everybody needs a little bit of ruffling the feathers. Everybody needs a little bit getting the shit pot stirred up. Because that's sometimes what it takes to get people off their ass and get people taking, not that Nitro has to be serious, but it's fun. You want to keep it fun, but it's not fun when you're breaking down, when you're struggling to get the motor tuned, when your shit's not running right. That's not fun. So, if you want it to be fun, you got to put in the work and the effort and the research and the studying and the homework and all that shit. Okay? That's what I look at. This is my Nitro school, man. I'm trying to get an A+ in my class of Nitro. Whether it's the tuning of my motor, running of my whip, whatever. Hooking up, and we're going to talk about that. So anyway, rules of engagement, or you can call it, clutch action. So clutching, let's talk about clutching, and then we're going to get into diffs, because I've got my diffs apart in the Techno. Techno, the whole rear end's completely out. That's where I'm at right now. The front end usually isn't get as bad, depending on how hard you're out there ripping your shit up. Techno got out there ripping pretty good. It wasn't too bad. A lot of the area where I run, there's tons of gopher holes and landmines, I call them, and shit. It looks like grass. It's not. That shit has dirt, moles, bumps. I'll be flying through it, and it looks like grass, and all of a sudden my shit will fly everywhere. And I did a couple, they were on video, a couple somersaults and flips, and I don't think I messed up this body too bad. But I'm going to get another body. One of my brothers mentioned, hey, that thing reminds me of like a Tasmanian devil when it's out there. Because it is. This thing just like, all my shit's like that. That's the fun of modified motors. Your shit's like a Tasmanian devil, man. And I know this, I can't baby this body anymore. This will be, my bash body. This is my first body for the Techno, and the only one for the Techno. I'm going to do another one. Maybe I might do a Tasmanian Devil. But yeah, the Tasmanian Devil's brown, so I don't like the color. You know the Muggy, he's color coordinated. I try to make sure that my shit matches. So anyway, JC Concept, by the way, if you're looking into bodies, are about a millimeter or almost 2 millimeters thicker than any Proline bodies. So if you're looking to get bodies, wondering about bodies, the most durable body that I found, Bitty Designs, they're cheap. Then Prolines, they're pretty good. A lot of people use Prolines. But these JC Concept, man, these things are thick, almost like fifth scale thick. Like, it's a thick-ass body. So, they're not cheap. They're expensive. I mean, not real expensive, but they're, you know, you're going to spend 40, 50 bucks. I'm going to get another one for the Techno. We're going to do another sick body. I've got some paint jobs and paint schemes coming up. I'm going to do another Techno one. I'm going to do another, because I have another one of these. That body over there needs to be painted. I'm not in any hurry. And I'm going to do another one. Yeah, I've got, what, 1, 2, 3 for the Mugen MBX 5R buggy. And we're going to do a fourth one. So, I like those bodies. That's the Proline Phantom body. You can get them if you have a Mugen. It's for an MBX 7. This is an MBX 7 body, by the way, on an MBX 5. You can make any body, for the most part, fit on the same, like Mugen buggy bodies, and the same thing with Mugen chuggy bodies. Whether it's you know, the newer ones, even this is an MBX 8 body, and this is an MBX 7T platform. Remember, so you just got to do a little customizing. That's all. So anyway, clutches. Now you need to ask yourself about your clutches. This is what, you know, I took some notes, watched a few videos. In order for your clutch to perform, these are the things that you got to look at. Okay, 1, does your engine scream its ass off? Okay? Does your engine scream its ass off? Okay? Number 2, your tires don't break traction. Okay? If your tires are breaking traction, your shit's not screaming, well, that's already 2 signs that your clutch ain't hooking up the way it should. Okay? Does your shit pop? Or does it, I should say, I want to say snap. Does it have that snap, that wick, 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 wick? You know what I'm talking about? That neck snapping power, you know? Does it snap? Okay? Does the front end want to come up? Now, you guys seen the Techno. You guys see a lot of my vehicles. On my modded motors, even my stock, I think the Novarossi 28.8 Rex Legend, when I have it stock on the Muggy, that front end wants to come up, and that's on a stock motor. I mean, okay, it's clutching has a lot to do with it. And diffs so too, but we're talking about clutch right now. Okay, so does your front end want to come up? Okay, does the engine stay below 220? Say, let's just say 2, but does it stay below 2, let's say 215? Okay, 220, 215? When running on a medium plug. So it means you're running a medium plug, is your shit staying below 220? 220 max. Okay? Mine usually sometimes gets a little warmer than that, but I'm not running a medium plug. I'm running a, you know, hot. I run a little bit warmer plugs because the Italian motors, they like to run warmer. So that, as far as the temperature thing, that all will vary on motors. The weather, the way the weather is. I mentioned to one of my brothers, man, if it's hot where you live, if you're getting that heat wave right now, we're getting some out here in Southern Cal. It's been like in the 90s and 100 the other day. You don't want to run hot plugs. A 4 and a 5 is too much for hot weather. You want to be running a 6 minimum up to an 8, depending how hot it is. Remember, hot weather, man, you want to run, and besides it, and that also goes for bigger motors, you want to run a warmer, colder plug anyway. For the smaller motors, like the .21s, yeah, when it's cold, you want to run, you know, a 4 is okay. you know, or maybe a 5. But when it's hot, you don't want to blow your motor up, man. You don't. If you're getting temperatures up towards 300 on a .21, yeah, you're running way too hot. So you need to switch your plug out. And I mentioned that to one of my brothers. By the way, shout out to him. Me and Mr. Lights Out. Me and him talk off behind YouTube all the time. Mr. Connor Wick P. Hear from him here and there. I think he's... a lot of you guys are experimenting with carburetors. It's so funny, man. But at the same... It's not... I don't mean funny like I'm laughing at you. But it's funny because I mention and I tell you guys and I show you guys what works and what doesn't work. But yeah, you guys just gotta... You know, and I get it. You just gotta experiment yourself. If you got nothing better to do, then waste your time experimenting with carburetors when you know, or I've told you, or have you heard that that carburetor sucks balls on that motor, and that motor, and I'm talking about LRP, the only carburetor that works great and perfect on the LRP, the only carburetor that works good on the LRP, any LRPs, is a Nova Rossi carburetor. If you can't get a Nova Rossi carburetor in an LRP, then your motor is only going to do so good. That LRP already doesn't have great quality because it's made in Taiwan. Okay, you already got to, you know, you have porting issues with a lot of them, old ones, new ones. So you're just creating more problems by excuse my language, by fucking with carburetors other than a Nova Rossi. And most of that I think comes from guys that either have run a Nova Rossi carburetor but just never have not got to that level where they know how to tune it yet, which I don't get. Nova Rossi carburetors are the easiest carburetor, one of the easiest carburetors to tune. If you can't tune a Nova Rossi carburetor, then you need to get the fuck out of nitro. Okay? You need to get out of nitro and go do E-Word. Because, and I don't mean that in a mean way, I'm just being real. That carburetor is the easiest fucking carburetor in the whole nitro game to tune. If you can't tune a Nova Rossi carburetor, you don't need to be in nitro. You just can't get it. Like I said before, sometimes people are just not going to have the DNA to do this. And it's okay. We need more people to, you know, do other shit just to keep the hobby growing, you know? Whether it's E-Word. That's fine. Go do E-Word. I don't care. I'm not going to try to... I'm not like some guys that try to beg people to not do E-Word. Hey, whatever floats your boat. If you have fun... And if you're not having fun at nitro because you just can't get it, because you just don't have or want to learn the skills to do it, then I don't want people to be unhappy and to not enjoy nitro and to talk shit about nitro. And that's what happens. And just, you know, create a negative buzz when it's them. Get the fuck out. It's not for you. It's not for everybody. Remember, I told you guys, this Nitro, A-Scale Nitro is for an elite class of people that want to learn, that want to learn patience or have patience, that don't mind putting in the work, and also, especially for the guys that love to wrench, they call it tinkering, and I call it wrenching. Some people say tinkering. Do you like tinkering with stuff? Old school term. It's wrenching. I love wrenching, man. But some guys just don't. They don't like what goes along with nitro. They think they can just come into nitro and get that feeling of the brat feeling of just the sound, the smell, the feel, but don't have to put in the work. It doesn't work that way. Sorry to burst your bubble. If you're not willing to roll up your sleeves, get down and dirty, get in there and turn some freaking wrenches, troubleshoot, figure some shit out, have some patience, get the fuck out of nitro. Please, do yourself a favor and do everybody else a favor. Don't drag the nitro name through the mud because your ass doesn't want to do the work or you're just too retarded to learn. Okay? And that's okay. I'm not mad at those people. Just, I get pissed because people talk shit about nitro because they couldn't figure it out, because they didn't have the patience, they didn't have the tolerance, or didn't want to take the time to actually learn. What the hell do you think YouTube is? YouTube is right there. There's no excuse. You can learn a lot. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to anybody, Adam, Drake. You don't have to listen to anybody. Go on YouTube some shit. Do some homework. Do some studying, man. People think they can just get an A+ in school and not study, you know? I mean, there is exceptions. My daughter did that too. Because and some people are just naturally talented and gifted to where they can do that. They don't have to put in that much, and they can just naturally do it. But that's an exception. Okay, the rule is you need to put the work in. Okay, so anyway, Muggy's just going on a rant right there. That just shit just gets me fired up, man, because I'm tired of hearing people's excuses. Oh, I don't do nitro because, you know, it was too much headaches or too much. No, because you're an idiot and you can't figure it out. It has nothing to do with nitro. Don't put the blame on nitro. Remember, if you're pointing one finger at something, okay, look, see that right there? Pointing one finger. Oh, shit, what's that? Oh, snaps, that's 3 fingers pointing back at your ass. Okay, remember that, and that goes for anything. So anyway, those are the main things. So, is your engine screaming its ass off? Ask yourself that. Only you can ask. Only you know. Do your tires don't break traction? Does your shit snap? Does your motor pop? When you give it throttle, what? Does that shit pop? Okay? Does the front end want to come up? Okay? And does the engine stay below, you know, I would say 250 when you're running it on a medium plug? All those things, if you answered no to one of those things, your clutches ain't hooking up, and you don't got them dialed in. You need to do some homework on them. Okay. Now I've mentioned what I do as far as clutch work goes. Just remember this, and I'll give you the basics because I want to get into diffs also. And I gotta get ready for work here because it's early, but still I gotta eat some breakfast. Gotta have, you know, I'm having my coffee. Where the hell's my coffee at? Ah, there we go. Yeah. Bam, need the coffee, people. The Muggy can't function without his caffeine. Nothing like coffee in the morning, baby. It's the only way I can function. But anyway, another thing that I want to talk about is, let's see. Oh, quick note. Just remember this on clutches, okay? If you're running stock motors, you want to run heavy springs. I don't care if it's a .21. I don't care if it's a .32. If it's stock, run heavy springs. That motor needs help. It's not modified. Okay, even Mr. Zai, there's a video he did. I think it's, the video is called, Too Many Things to Do, Not Enough Time to Do It, or something like that, where he gets into the clutching, and he talks about the springs. You guys that are using heavy springs on modded motors, if you have modded motors, yeah, it's good for shits and giggles. The front end's definitely going to come off the ground, but you're going to tear up your clutches, man. You're going to rip up your clutch bells, tear up your shoes. At $25 a pop, when you're getting Max Life or you know, King Heads or Serpent, just to name a few. If you guys want good clutch shoes, whether it's 3-shoe clutches or 4-shoe clutch, look into those. I went through all the Chinaman shit and all that, and they work. And for the time, they're okay. But you're going to replace them a lot more than if you just get some Max Life by Dynamite. Great clutch shoes. They make a 3-shoe clutch shoes, Dynamite, Max Life, and they make 4. Also, Serpents. Serpents are really good. I use those. They last a long time. And also, Buku is good. Some people use Buku. And Serpent. So those 4. Dynamite, Max Life. Serpent. Buku. And, what was the other one that I said? King Heads. Those 4. King Heads, Max Life, Buku, Serpent. Those 4 are the best. Take your pick. Probably the best 4 clutch shoes made on the market. 8-scale nitro. Been there, done that. Ran them all. Stock motors, mod motors, .21s, .32s. Been there, done that. The Muggy Maniac has done all the groundwork for you guys. So there, you decide what you want to use. You do what you want to do. I'm just giving you suggestions. Remember, I always tell you guys, it's not my way or the highway. Although, you know, if you don't do it the way I do it, then you can't expect my results. Okay? If you want my results, if you want your shit to run like mine, your shit to pop, your shit to hook up, the front end to come up, scream its lungs out like it's being murdered, okay? All the things that I mentioned, My shit does that. Okay? I answered yes. So do the quiz. Does your engine scream its ass off? Yes or no? Do your tires don't break traction? Well, mine are still breaking traction. So I got to work on that one. Okay? And it's a combination of, you know, they don't as much. They still do, man, because this thing just rips ass. And I'm talking modded motors too, so it's a little bit different. But as far as stock, yeah, your tires shouldn't break traction. So anyway, and is your engine stable as, you know, 250, running a medium plug, or, you know, in general. Okay? So now we're going to talk about diffs. Okay? And people are like, I hear the question, and I see it on videos. Okay, well, you talk about diffs. Why would you want to use 100K in the middle? Why would you want to use 50K in the front, 50 in the rear, blah, blah, blah? Why would you want to use thicker in the, or lighter in the middle, thicker or lighter in front? Okay, let me explain diffs for you real quick. Okay, front diffs, the lighter diff oil that you do, okay, increases steering. Okay, and it's smoother off throttle. So if you want your vehicle to be smoother off the throttle, steering like out of corners when you're pitching it sideways, whatever. You know, if you watch Adam Drake stuff, remember a lot of that stuff pertains to racing. You know, and I got to remember that, and I tell you guys that. Don't get that twisted, because I hear guys say, "Oh, Adam Drake mentioned this and this and that." Yeah, but he's not talking about bashing. He's talking about racing. It's a complete different setup. I don't think people forget that. You know, when he's talking that this pipe and whatever works on his OS motors, yeah, for racing, he wants smooth power. He doesn't want raw, frickin' animalistic, ballistic, uncontrollable power. That's not what you want when you're racing. You want it manageable, controllable, but still, you know, have that snap. And bashing, or like I said, I call it recreational, for me. I'm not a basher. I'm a recreational nitro enthusiast. I want power to the ground. Straight raw power going to the ground. Motor power to the ground. Front and rear. Period. I don't care about all the control and smooth steering. Like I said, Tasmanian devil. That's the shit that I want. That's not controllable. You know, and that's cool that my nitro brother mentioned it. That, man, that thing reminds me when I seen, you know, my last video, when he seen my Techno, he said, that thing's like a Tasmanian devil, man. That whip is just everywhere. And that's what I like. I don't need smooth and off throttle, you know, who cares about all that? So, but that's just what front diffs do. So thickening your front diff is going to lessen that, okay? If you put thicker diff oil in your front, okay, you're going to pull harder through mid throttle, okay? So 50K I suggest for, this is for modded. If you're running a modded anything, 50K in the front, 50K in the rear, buggy or truggy. 100K in the middle, 100K in the rear, buggy. 100K in the middle, okay, buggy or truggy. Now, if you're running stock buggy, 0.21, I don't care what it is, I would suggest, if you're not going to run big motors in it, and you're just going to run predominantly 0.21s in it, stock, best that I've experienced is 50K in the middle, 20K in the front, 20K in the rear. That way it frickin' was smooth, not smooth, it was still gave you plenty of power, but it handled great. Buggies can be squirrely and, you know, all over the place because they're shorter wheelbase. They're buggies. They don't handle the same. They're pretty agile, I would say, but, you know, when you get a nasty 0.21 in there, especially if if you're going to mod 0.21s, or you're going to put modded motors or bigger motors in a buggy, then just go the 50K in the front, 50K in the rear, 100K in the middle. Okay, Truggies, the same thing. I tried, and as far as your center diff, okay, if you make it thicker, it's gonna, the center diff, what it does, it center diffs is what controls the drive. Because remember, the motor is going through the center diff before it's distributing the power to the front of the rear. You know, basic physics. Or should I say, you know, rotating mouse, or whatever you want to call it. Power transfer. Motor, center diff, front to rear, distributed. Okay? Usually you're getting more in the front bite, because if you notice, the fronts always have the shorter center drivetrain. So the center drivetrain that's coming out of your front, out of your diff, is always shorter. That's going to be the direct power. You're getting your power response from your center diff is hitting this more directly than it is your rear, because your rear, depending, like on the Techno, it has an extra long shaft. It's longer than the Mugen. It's longer than most, okay, because you remember the motor is forward more, which means the diff is forward more. Techno designed this so this thing would handle like a buggy. When it jumps, it's a lot more level because it's mid, okay, so you're not getting that extra little bit of weight in the back, where when you jump and you're getting air, if you watch racing, the Technos, man, they don't have to brap the throttle too much, because they're not getting a lot of rear kick. What I mean rear kick is when you catch air, the back end, because of the weight, wants to kick. But because the Technos motors are more centered, it doesn't give as much kick. So there's smoother transition when they're getting air. It's pretty crazy if you watch videos on these things, like Bornhorst, John Bornhorst, which races for Team Teco, Jared Tebow with the Truggies. Man, it's crazy because of the way the Technos. Man, I can't wait to get this thing airborne. I'm going to try to do it this weekend. I can't guarantee you anything, but we're going to try. I found a spot, another park up the street from where I live, that has some little hills and stuff. So we're going to try to get the Techno flight, man. This thing, I haven't got it off the ground much, except for the front end coming up off the ground all the time. I want to get this thing in the air, okay? I need to test the flight pattern of the Techno. You know what I'm saying, people? I know people always say, hey, Muggy, man, people that criticize me or whatever because I haven't jumped my shit off roofs like Mr. Za, you need to get that shit airborne and shut these people up. Well, I don't really care what people think. It ain't all about jumping. Doesn't mean I don't want to jump. Doesn't mean I don't want to get air. No. But I think performance on the ground, your front end coming up, you know, getting sideways and seeing the power to the ground is more important to me than actually getting air and flying through the air and all that. Even though that's what I want to do that. And don't get me wrong. It's just, you know, you can only do what you can so much. I don't have ramps. I don't have places like certain people where they can, you know, get air all the time. I mean, friend's building one, but he's just so busy, he's taking forever. But, you know, that'll come in time, and, you know, I'm not in any hurry, but trust me, it does. I think about it all the time. Don't think I don't, the Muggy don't think about getting any of my bitches flying up in the air. I think about it every day, so we're going to get there. I'm being patient. And I know you guys are looking for that, so it will happen. But anyway, so the center is what basically you're getting the most drive for your whip, okay? So the thicker you put the oil, the more drive you're going to get. I don't know if that makes sense. Pretty basic science. So you want to make them, that's why we make the diffs the thickest. It's almost like when you put thick diff oil, it's almost like you're locking out the diff. Okay? And those guys that are into fifth scale, or whoever does fifth scale, then you know what I'm talking about. Okay, the rear, light oil increases your steering. Thicker oil makes the rear stick. Does that make sense? So if you go light diff oil in the rear, you're gonna, you know, you're gonna get a little bit more steering, okay? But if you want that shit to stick, you're going to want to thicken it. So, I mean, the whole gist of your disc, like I said, is to get, for bashing or for recreational, whatever you want to call it, is to get all the power to the ground. And the only way that you're going to get the power to the ground is by thickening your diff oil. So again, that's why, you know, we say 50 in the front, 50 in the rear. By the way, these are the oils that I use. I use TLR oil. Okay, you notice that it's in this. If you want your oil, because when you're dealing with thicker oil, thicker diff oils, this is only 50K. And see how it flows right now? It's because I've got it in warm water. I heat water up, I put it in warm water, so it loosens, so it just makes it easier. It moves around easier, and it's easier to put in your diff cups. Okay, make sure you clean all the old diff oil out of here. Very important. I don't care, every single component. Diffs are one of my least favorite things to do because it is time consuming, it is tedious. I really don't show you guys too much of my wrenching, as you guys know I've mentioned before, because my shit's just real tedious, boring. You already got to listen to my mouth as it is. So, but just a few notes I wanted to kind of show you guys how I do it. First thing that I learned from Ryan Lutz, to get thick diff oil out, like those of you that aren't running thick diff oil, you shouldn't have a problem getting your thin shit out, okay, to put the thick shit in. If it is thick and you're looking to change your shit, okay, 50K and 100K, that shit's hard. It takes forever to get it out, okay? So what I learned, a trick from Mr. Ryan Lutz, is you take silicone shock oil, okay, let's just say whatever the lightest you got. I have 20 weight, so I have pretty light. I use 20, you can use 30, 40, anything thinner than, even 50K. 50 weight shock oil, because shock oil is not thick and, like diff oil. And the whole point is you put it in your diffs with your, when you open your diffs, and if you can see that color, that's what my diff oils look like. And there was like a lot of diff fluid missing. So that shit over time will, there won't, whether it evaporates or it seeps out or whatever, I would suggest, because people always ask, well, when should you do your diffs? Or I hear people tell, and ask the question, how often should you change your diffs? I check them, you know what I mean? What I do is, let me set this up real quick. You guys can see me. I like, when my diffs are together, I turn the diff. And when you do your diffs, if it's turning real easy, well, obviously your shit is just like thinned out. It needs to be changed. But if you're turning it, your diffs, and they're still pretty thick, given some resistance, then yeah, you're cool. But I can tell, like when you build a 50K diff or a 100K diff, you put it together, you know what it feels like. Okay, how hard it is to move. So obviously when you're checking your diffs, if that shit's like real easy to move, well, your shit needs to be changed. And when I open this up, like I've cleaned them already, all this shit's already been cleaned, because I didn't want to have you guys watch me clean it. I can explain the cleaning, and it just makes it so, I don't drag this out any more than I have to. But I want to show this to you guys, because I think, because it is important. You this, man, and I hear guys all the time, wow, my tire, I'm not getting it hooked up, I'm not getting this, and like I said, I already mentioned the clutches is one of them. Another key component to your shit even hooking up is your diffs. If you're spinning your tires, part of it is your clutch, but another big part of it that a lot of guys seem to forget is your diffs. If your diffs, you're running freaking light diff weight, diff weight, diff fluid, your shit's gonna break loose, and you're losing power. You're losing power from your motor. The point is to get all that power from whatever motor you got. I don't care if it's a pea shooter. But especially if it's a bigger motor, a .28 Rex Legend, a Pico, a .32 stock or modded, especially modded, but stock, you want your shit to hook up. You don't want to waste power. I don't. Maybe if you do, then teach his own. A lot of people don't even know that they're wasting power. They don't think maybe they never notice their tires are spinning and ain't going nowhere. And I see it on guys' videos all the time, and I'll tell guys, hey man, your shit's just spinning, bro. What kind of weight you're running in here? Oh, I'm running 20,000 and in the front and rear, or 20,000 in the middle and 10,000 in front and rear. I'm like, holy shit. No wonder your shit doesn't even hook up. Because your shit screams and it sounds great and it idles great. Who gives a fuck if it's not hooking up? Okay? Don't get that twisted. You want your shit, your power. You want that power to the ground. It's not about your motor screaming and even though I mentioned that, or it's not just about the screaming and the idling. Is your shit hooking up? Remember, if your wheels are spinning, your fucking diffs and your clutch are all fucked up. Okay? You need to dial that shit in. So anyway, you put the shock oil in here, you know, with the spider, with it, you know, with your shitty, dirty diff oil, and you just turn it and work it in, turn it, work it in, and it helps get all that thick shit, shitty diff oil out. Just makes it easier to get out. Because if you don't do that and you just try to get it out, it's going to take you forever. Okay? Once you get everything thoroughly cleaned, I mean, clean your washers, your spider gears. Be careful when you're taking them apart. Your diffs, kind of keep track of what it looks like. If you get like lost and you don't have a manual, just go online, Competition X, well-known manual for every RC. Mugens, Technos, Low Cs, everything. They got the full imploded manuals online, easy to find, and it'll show you just in case. Because I do that sometimes, but I have all my owner's manuals now to all my whips, and that's why I'm going to keep it. Those are so important because I'm old. Muggy Maniac's an old fart. I forget. So anyway, sometimes there'll be washers on here, right on the ends of these spider gears. Don't lose those washers. Okay? I've ordered some extra, these, which are the little O-rings. The O-rings, I suggest, put some kind of grease on them. I use Polylube. You can use, I mean, if you don't have the money, again, Lucas shit, $3 for a giant tube of this. This is the green grease. They have the red one, and then they have, there's like 3 different kinds. I use the green one as the best one. The red one isn't it says it's tacky, but that shit breaks down quick. This is good. Like you said, you can use poly grease, any kind of gear grease you want to put on your O-rings. Pop them back in, just like I did here, okay? Put your spider gears back together, okay? What I do, make sure you have a pair of needle nose pliers. First thing I do is the slot, you guys can't see it, but the slot that's on the top of these cross pins, the cutout on the first one, make sure that cutout, because these lock together, is facing up. And I just slide this in, because it's going to have a notch. That's the way these things are designed. You slide it in, get that shit in here. Oop. Whoa, whoa. Slide it. Muggy Maniacs can't see. I'm blind. Oops. Slide them in, drop them in. As long as that notch is facing up. They're pretty tight, so I mean you just got to be patient and just make sure that you get that thing facing up. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass. Just got to get it in that little groove. Like so. See, that shit wants to slide down one side. Oops. Be careful if you're using pliers because you don't want to damage your shit. There we go. Just got to get the top part because remember, if you look at these pins, they're not completely round. They have a flat edge on each side. Okay, so just make sure that this notch in the middle, that cutout, is facing up. Okay, just slide your gears in like that. So I try to do, and these things don't want to slide over. Biatch. Okay. Alright, so you can see that. And then the second one, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to turn it the other way. Obviously. Whoops. Sometimes I just do it with my finger than trying to do it with a frickin'. Okay. Patience. There we go. Oops. Dumbass. Make sure they crisscross. That would help. There we go. So, guys, see that? See that? Boom. Make sure they crisscross. Push it down. Okay. Now, I'm not going to get all into putting the oil in because this video is already running. We're getting close to another hour. And I probably won't see you guys or, you know, I talk to the guys, like I said, behind the scenes. But you won't hear from the Muggy Maniac till sometime this weekend. Father's Day is Sunday, so I'm probably going to be busy with my daughters and my mother and family. But we'll see if we can get a video of some brapping. As soon as I get the Techno's going to run again. Okay, by the way, I know I said I'm going to run the NBX7 with the LRP .32 modded, modded, Muggy style. But since I didn't get a full session on the Nova 28.8 Rex Legend, we're gonna run it again and, you know, run its balls off. And yeah, so anyway, when you put your diff fluid in, like I said, if you heat it up, if you put it in hot water, it's just 50K or 100K especially, it's just easier. Fill the diff up. I fill it up quarter of the over the gears, spider gears here. Okay. Let it set for a minute. Let it all seep in. Make sure you get it in all the little where the cross pins slide in, those slots. Make sure you put it in there. You want to let it set. Now, one key thing, and I'll leave you guys with this, and then we're going to cut this video. When you put your diff fluid in, okay, let it set. I mean, once you put it in, because people say, well, how much should you put in? I hear people ask questions on that on other people's videos, not just me. Once you fill it up all the way, kind of take your finger, and when it's level, take your finger, just kind of wipe your finger level across, and make sure that it's full. You better have a little bit too much, because when you put the top of your gear on, if some of it'll come out, it's okay. You just don't want to put not enough. That's not good. Okay. Now what I do is, if you'll see when you put it in there, it's going to be air bubbles. I let that shit set until it's completely not even one air bubble at all. That's just me. You do what you want. If you leave air bubbles in there, that shit's going to fuck up, and you're going to lose diff oil, and it's going to break the seal later down the line, which you don't want. Okay? I'll even let it sometimes, if there's a lot of bubbles, I'll let it sit overnight. I'll let it sit 24 hours. I'm in no hurry. I'm not running anytime soon. You know, it's Wednesday. And then, usually within the next day, I'll go to look. And when I can look down at my diff fluid and it's completely clear, like mirror, like glass, and there's no bubbles, then I'm good. Then, you know, you put your cross pin, you put, you know, your drive shaft up in there. Make sure you put the washer on over the drive shaft first, as you see this, you know. Sometimes you gotta hold the O-ring down, put your drive shaft, put your washer over there, and then you're gonna have to, now this is where you gotta have patience. If you don't have patience, just, I don't know what to tell you, but this is where your patience will be tested, especially when you're doing diffs. You take a lot of patience. Okay, and I set my cross pin in there, okay, make sure it's even, and then I take the gear, just drop it on top, and then I'll turn it until it locks in. It'll slide in. Once it's in there, I'm good. Okay, see that? It's in there, nice and greased up in there, good to go. Okay, then after I put all my diff fluid on and everything, just make sure you line up the holes where the bolts are, where the bolts are going through. Line them up with the holes on here. You know, when it's full or whatever, then you're going to take it and just make sure the holes, see the holes there and the holes here? Make sure they're lined up. Oops, that just came off. Make sure they're lined up. Okay? And then a lot of times you can just kind of, boom, drop it on there like that. And press it down, make sure it's down tight. Some of the fluid's going to come out. It's okay, wipe it up. So anyway, that's that. I think we're coming up on an hour. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys how I do my diffs. Couple tips I learned from Ryan Lutz. Has a great video. Watch his. Whether it's the Techno one he did, the Durango one he did. I think he even has one for Agama now, since he's been with 3 different teams in the last few years. Adam Drake has a really good one that he does. Ty Testament has a good one, and Mr. Za has one too. His one doesn't get really, you know, technical. You know how he is. John is just not a technical guy, and it's okay, because he's a sick in the head, gearhead, and he just keeps it simple, and he's a basic guy. But if you want to get more tech savvy, you want to get more technical, scientific, whatever you want to call it, that's when you go to Adam Drake, man. That's why I combine the two. You can't go wrong with that combo. The Mr. Za combined with Adam Drake, that's why I get the results, and my shit runs the way it does and performs the way it does. Because I pay attention to those two guys, combine what I learn and what I like, I use. What I don't really care for, I just leave it. Like I said, do your homework, do your research, scout and study all these guys that I mentioned. Use what you can from them to what you do and what works for you, and whatever you can't, just leave it. It's okay. Same thing with me. If you can't use anything from me, then disregard anything I told you. I hope that I entertained you for an hour. I don't do a lot of wrenching, as you can see. It's just boring for you guys to watch me do that. It's tedious. I love doing it, don't get me wrong. I love doing that. That shit and this is almost as satisfying or more satisfying than me actually running my shit. Because I like seeing how I can improve, and more importantly, behind it is when my shit's running, I'm like, yes, man, my diffs are, I can just feel the difference. My shit is hooking up, or you know what? My clutch and all that clutch work that I just did, and shimming and all that, and spring changing, man, I put heavy springs on my stock motors, and my shit is, friend wants to come up. Or I put light springs or medium springs on my modded shit, and my shit is not breaking traction, it's hooking up. That's what it's about, man. Reaping the fruits of your labor. But if you're not laboring, you ain't getting shit. You ain't just gonna, it's not just given to you. You gotta earn it, work for it, study for it, you know, all that shit. So anyway, that's all the Muggy Maniacs got. I'm out of here. I gotta get ready for work. I just thought I'd explain that too. Oh, by the way, I've got 3 pipes coming. Okay, so for you guys out there, and I'll leave you with that killer pipe combo. Here you go. If you got a modded or even a stock motor, Triton, made in Italy, 2148 is the pipe. Bad ass. It has the most bottom and mid range of any pipe on the market. Dyno tested. Called the company, they dyno it. It's not just fiction, this is fact. We talk about the 9886 Novarossi. This thing outperforms the 9886 on the dyno. Now, the motors are going to vary. You can't say, well, it's going to, you know, what it's going to do on every motor is different. And you guys should already know that. If you don't, you know it now. But dyno tested, if you want to go by specs and dynos, this Triton 2148 has more power, bottom and mid, just across the board, than a Novarasi 28.8, or Novarasi 28.8, a Novarasi 9886. So, $100 delivered. I got one coming. So that's the next pipe down. I got another 41032 header, which, by the way, I won't even run this. This I would run combo on a .21. Okay, I talked to Mr. Za. I mean, not personally talked to him, but I went back on some of my videos and I was asking John, Mr. Za, about pipes, and this is what he, from my videos, what he put on my comments. For a .21 stock or modded 41031 header, okay, 9886 pipe. So if you put a 41031 with this bad boy, it will outperform that 9886. Or the other one is the 9901, which I don't have and I'm going to try. Novarasi 9901 pipe with a 41031 header on a .21. Spank that ass. Well, I don't spank that ass, but you know what I'm saying? Good combo. Okay? Bigger motors, truggies, we're going to go with this and the 41032 on my moddeds. So, on the stock, big motors, this or a 9886 and a 41001. So, those are the combos that I've tried and that I've done. And I'm going to try again on different motors, and that's what I got from Mr. Zanakafed, or however he says that shit. So anyway, that's all I got. That's over an hour now. Muggy Maniacs got to get ready for work. Got to go earn that cheddar. Got to put this thing back together in the next couple days. This is the whole rear end. Got to get to the center diff next. Got to put some fresh 100K, or I might go 120 in there. And and then do the front end, which isn't going to take that long because it's not as dirty. So that's all I got, people. I hope I, answered some questions, helped some people out. The only dumb question is the one that you don't ask. So that's all I got. Remember, if you're not running your shit and you're still hibernating or on vacation or whatever, set your piston bottom dead center and put some after run juice in there. Peace out.